Welcome to Lashback, everyone. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. I'm Natalyan.
And I'm Phoebe. Happy holidays and happy winter solstice.
Yeah.
Guessing today that our subject is exactly that, holidays. So, what do you reckon of Santa, Nat?
So I still believe in Santa. As you can see, I'm wearing well, it's not Santa's hat per se, but it's a version of Santa's hat that I got at some point in my life. Yeah, I love Santa. I love everything that Santa represents. Well, not maybe not everything, but yeah, I love Christmas. It's my favourite time of year. What about you? Do you love Santa, Christmas, Phoebe?
Well, I don't know how I feel about Santa, um, but do I do love the idea. I do absolutely celebrate on 21st of December in, of course, the Northern
Yeah,
Hemisphere, the shortest day of the year. It is the celebration of fire and the return of the sun. And I really get
it
into that
is.
because I find it really, really difficult when it starts getting darker and darker and darker and darker.
Yeah,
Really struggle. Um, so I get very excited when I know that the nights are going to start drawing back out again, for sure.
yeah.
And I think there's something really I'm a bit of a hippie, and I really get down with the whole sort of tuning into the seasons, and
Me too.
yeah, I really get into that. I really, really enjoy that. I don't know the whole Santa giving presents thing, whether that's really my bag. Although I did see a really
Yeah,
funny thing on my feed the other day, which was saying talking about sort of the natural world and these what I would call manufactured holidays, is that reindeer, actual like the male reindeer, lose their antlers in the winter, and the
yeah,
female reindeer don't. So of course, Santa was pulled by women, and I really enjoyed
yeah, yeah.
that.
We all know that. Behind every great man, Phoebe. Behind every great
Well,
man.
indeedy, indeedy.
That's a lot in the animal world anyway, right? Um,
Totally.
but yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Christmas is well, I mean, I love Christmas. I love Christmas for many reasons, the movies, the songs, and we can talk more about that. Um, the giving present component is probably embellished too much, right? But I think like coming together and spending time together and, celebrating with your family, your friends, whoever you consider to be family. Like I have a modern family in the sense that I have my blood family, but I have what I consider a family of of people that are not blood, but I consider them family, and I
Yeah.
love celebrating with them. I love the Christmas dancing, and I don't get presents for people every year. If you've been my friend for what 10 years,
Mm.
and sometimes I get gifts, sometimes I don't. It depends on a number of things, what I'm doing at that particular time of my life, not just financial, but who I'm spending it with as well. If I spend Christmas Day with you, you're probably going to get a present. If I don't, then you're probably not. Um,
We
and
don't
we
give
we
presents
also
to my family on Christmas Day.
yeah, yeah.
We
I
never.
don't always either. I think
Yeah.
the present is you, isn't it? The present is spending time together.
The
You know,
presents, not the
yes, the
presents.
presents rather than the presents.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think kids opening gifts and stuff like that. But someone said something the other day on a feed, which I've seen people say many a times. But growing up, you don't remember what presents you got necessarily, right? It's
No.
about that day. It's about the season. It's about the feeling. It's about the music and the movies and going to see lights. I love colourful lights. So I
Lights
think
are
that kind
very
of talks
helpful.
to that.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
enjoy
Yes.
Christmas lights, certainly because,
I do.
if you got to do something with all the darkness. So it's really actually makes
You got to
January
brighten
really
it up.
difficult because you still got like again in the Northern Hemisphere, you still got quite uh early evenings and all the Christmas lights are gone and I'm like really affect
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah, no, I do, and that's what I was about to go into January actually. That January is very difficult because what I love about the winter season when it starts occurring is because Christmas is coming up, and then when
Yeah.
that's done, you're like, okay,
And then what?
what do I do? What do I do now? And I've always
We
said
should do an
that I
episode
want to
on that.
take January off. Yeah, we need to do an episode on that. But I
Yeah.
want to take January off and go to the Caribbean.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't, I
what?
haven't.
Winter sun is sees you through February, doesn't it? I mean, you know what it's
Yeah,
like in England. February is like the rain goes that way, and it's just really. I've got a
umbrellas.
I've got an Australian colleague at the minute that she's only been here since March, and she was saying, "Oh God, it's so cold," and I'm like, "Just wait till February. You've got no idea, no
Well, I'm
idea."
in South Carolina. I'm in South Carolina, as you know, and it's been freezing at night. I actually looked the other day, and although there's a 5 hour difference, I think it was like midnight here and 5 a.m. there, and it was colder by 3 degrees here. But it's sunny in the day, which would help you. It's bright and it looks like a hot summer's day, but it's not.
Yeah,
Right.
it's absolutely
So
grey and horrible here. So, what are you doing for Christmas Day this year?
oh, I'm so excited. I have not spent a Christmas in England since Christmas of 2017. I've always
Wow.
spent, whilst I go back and forth, as you know, I kind of live between the two. I haven't spent a Christmas in England since then, and I am so ready for it. I leave in a week and a half, and I am so excited about the Christmas dinner, the Christmas music, because one thing I have realized, and again, I can't talk to every single American person, but I play a lot of Christmas songs when I'm in America that no one knows here,
Oh, really?
from England. Yeah. So like
Oh,
Shakin' Stevens, I wish it, yeah, Christmas every day, right?
yeah.
And no one knows that, or like Mistletoe and Wine, or I have a whole playlist, a Christmas playlist that I've been building since 2019, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And a lot of those songs, I don't know what percentage, but 30-40% of them people don't realize over here what they are. So does that mean that we embellish the music of Christmas more,
Do you have carol
because I know
singing in
this?
America? You do, right?
Yeah,
People go carol singing.
yeah, but I mean, have you seen any for years? I haven't.
No, no,
That's
but
a
then I
thing
live in
that's
London.
dropped.
People don't tend to talk to other people.
I grew up doing Christmas carol singing all the time, and I think
Yeah,
we should
carol
start it.
concerts at school.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
you'd
that's
go
kind of
out, with.
religious, isn't it? It's Christian, isn't
I
it? And
think we
I'm,
should do it. When
I'm not practicing Christian. I suppose if you were a practicing Christian, you might be more likely to sing hymns than noddy holders. Christmas!
love it, I love it. I
And of
love
course,
Christmas.
multicultural uh, communities that we are now. It's like in London, a lot of corner shops are still open on Christmas Day because they're run by people who aren't Christian, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll open the shop today."
Well,
Which
I've got some Jewish friends here that are actually coming to England for Christmas. It's a long story, and they're traveling on Christmas Day
oh,
because no
wow.
one's traveling today,
In fact,
right?
a couple of times I've been away on the holidays, we should say, and I've
Yeah,
taken advantage of the cheap flights on Boxing Day. It's
yeah.
like, Mum, Christmas present, which we don't do presents in my family unless you're under 18. I haven't had we don't do an exchange of gifts. Um, but yeah, your Christmas present this year can drive me to the airport at 7 a.m. on Boxing Day. But you don't have Boxing
Yeah.
Day in America, do you? You just have to get back
No,
straight to
no.
work.
You do, yeah, that I don't allow that. I've all my friends in America have embraced Boxing Day. I've really been showing them what it means. And for me, well, traditionally, I guess Boxing Day, you go to the other part of the family, right? I don't have a big
Yeah.
family, but I used to always, if I was in a relationship, maybe go to the other side, my side or their side. But what we'd really look forward to on Boxing Day is we'd all meet in the pub, very British, and we would exchange little silly gifts, like I got my
Shots
friend
of
like
vodka.
a GPS. Yeah, yeah, alcohol and like game things. I got my friend one year this um what do you call it? We called it a sat nav, but it was like a play one, and then you pressed it and it said funny things, and then we all just had loads of drinks. So we saw our friends because we were kind of sick of being around all the family by that point, and we'd all go out and we couldn't wait. We'd only had a day apart since Christmas Eve, but it was like years being apart. So Boxing Day was very much about meeting your friends in the local pub and having fun. So
Yeah.
I really embraced that.
Is it
Talking
you?
about Santa.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to tell you a story about Santa. Just before we kind of move on to all the other things, because I just think it's hilarious. I have a good friend of mine called Claire, and we were next door neighbours growing up. And we got locked in the garage or the garage.
Garage.
I think it was July. Right, so remember, it was July. And we got locked in there somehow, and for hours. It was probably 20 minutes, but it felt like 10 hours, right? And we were like wishing Santa to come to us, and we were doing things in the garage to try and will Santa out of hibernation. And I remember when our parents finally found us, and it took them a while because they always thought I was next door, and they always thought her parents always thought she was next door. So it was like they're somewhere, and it was more free in the 80s and 90s,
Was
wasn't it?
indeed.
Like no one knew where you were. No, your parents didn't know where you were. But anyway, I just think that's a funny story that we've always talked about. That it was July, and we were really wanting Santa to come out, getting things in the garage ready to try and willing him out of hibernation in
Still believe in
July.
Santa?
I do, but I've been naughty.
Naughty.
I'm not sure what the level of naughtiness allows. I feel like he's gonna leave me off the list. Um, we'll
Even though
we'll
he's
we'll
checked it
we'll
twice.
yeah. I mean, I think he's check it again though.
It's funny. I was going to say, oh, well, two stories. I believe the day I stopped believing in Santa was when I got a letter from Santa the day after Christmas that was blatantly in my mum's handwriting. And I was like, because I'd not behaved
Yes.
very well or something. And I was like, all right, mum, that's shattered the dream.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks, Mum.
but it is an important thing, isn't it? Christmas and family coming together. And I know a lot of people that do sort of friendly things on Christmas Day, but I still go home to my mum's and see all of my mum's siblings, and
Yeah.
kind of I'm the young one there, and that's fine.
Mm.
There were a couple of years in my 20s where I was like, I'm not going home, but actually, I think this is probably
Yeah.
how many Christmases have I got left? But there is something
Yeah.
also about like the ritual of winter solstice, which is about the reflection of looking back and looking forward, and giving thanks for the harvest and the winter, and celebrating the sun coming back. And then Dickens wrote about that, didn't he? In
Yeah.
Scrooged, this notion of Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. And I think those sorts of messages at this kind of time of year are really, really important. Even though some people would say it should be Christmas every day. And I
It
do
shouldn't.
think that
I don't.
I think that spirit of Christmas, of giving and being kind and helpful to people should actually exist every day of the year. And why do we only
Yeah,
do it
but
at Christmas?
yeah, no. Well, look, people don't only do it at Christmas, but I think it's embellished at Christmas, and that should be a theme throughout. I mean, something that I did when I lived in England, I went through a few years when I was in England because I travel a lot. Was on Christmas morning and Boxing Day, I used to go to different shelters and help them with food, or I would do activities, music related activities to homeless people or people that were struggling to some degree, and really got to know a lot of people, from large corporate executives that it just something changed in their life, something went wrong. It's a slippery slope that can be very rapid, to people that were in care as children, and it's hard to get out of that. And I really kind of embrace that, and I think that really opened my eyes to the fact there's privilege there as well, and I'm definitely privileged, and
Yeah,
it helped me embrace that spirit, which needs to be upheld throughout the year. And we need to remember as well that Christmas may not be a great time for everybody, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. People
You
that
know,
are recent bereavements, or don't
yeah,
have the family, or haven't got the money, and they wish they,
no,
the whole consumerism and the environmental impact of Christmas is a whole other conversation. But
it
I think
is.
about it just now because there are schemes around here actually. They're like buy a Christmas toy, put it in the box, and then a family that can't afford to
You had
get
that
their
here,
kids a present
yeah.
can give a present, and I think that's a really key issue in these times, without wanting to get too
It's so expensive.
depressing.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
other
I
the other
think
thing about Christmas and how it ages as well is all of this debate that's been going on about that song. What is it? Do they know it's Christmas? The Band Aid
Indeed.
song, which is quite interesting, isn't it? Those lyrics have not aged well, have they?
They've not. They were. I sung that in a school concert, and I love that song with all the different artists in it. But yeah, I've seen a few things about that recently. They have definitely not aged well, and it shows the different mentality, doesn't it?
Colonialism,
From
yeah.
then to now, you
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
that
That's the
means.
ghost
And
of Christmas past for sure.
yes,
Absolute sure.
absolutely,
Yeah, what's the
absolutely.
future there? Like, you don't have to do Christmas just because you live in a hot country. I did a Christmas in South Africa one year, and that was
Oh
really
right,
good. Having a, doing
yeah.
all of the trimmings and the Christmas things, and it's absolutely sweltering, like the middle of summer.
Same in Australia. I remember my first Christmas in Australia, and I felt like I missed a Christmas. I was very upset about it, you
Mm.
know, which sounds silly, but it was so hot, and people were, grilling prawns on the barbie. I'm like, what? No,
And fake snow on
no,
windows. And I'm like, you never even have snow
no.
in the
Yeah.
winter. Yeah.
Talking about that fake snow on the windows, right? I think it's really important to bring up how crass, if you know what the word crass means to the rest of the world, the decorations and what you did to your house at Christmas in the
Sellotape
80s and
tinsel.
90s. Sellotape. My mum had just decorated the house, and we put in pins, and our thumbs are killing us because your thumbs are down there by then. You're putting pins into your wall. You got awful tinsel, sellotape, and you've got a bit of sellotape from last year on the wall.
Yeah, right. Just use that bit again. Or
What
the
is that
tree
all
comes out of
about?
the box in the attic. Yeah. There's
We
a,
always
there's
had a
a
real.
couple of houses around my mum's way. Actually, she lives out in Surrey, which is sort of the suburbs, bordering on kind of more farmy kind of countryside. And
Yeah.
there's this one house, I'm sure they use up the electricity of the whole national grid of the area. The amount of lights, the amount of lights they put on their house. And I think, who's got the time to actually do that? But then at the same
Dream.
time, it's quite an interesting motivation. It's a bit like Halloween and all the big sort of front of house decorations to show that you're celebrating. I mean, why do people bother to like said
I, I,
why put front so many
I,
lights on the front of your house?
I
Risk
love
your
it. I
life
love it.
putting a
That's the dream.
Santa on your roof. Risking your life.
I absolutely, Phoebe, I don't know if you know this about me, but that's my dream to be that family. No, it is. And that's where my love of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is one of the best movies of all time comes from.
Also
I
hasn't
mean,
aged well.
I, I want, I love it though. I love it. But yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Home
from a
Alone as
Christmas
well.
Home Alone.
Hasn't
Do
aged
you
well.
remember Santa Claus the movie? Not, there's loads of
Yes,
Santa Claus. Santa Claus the movie.
there's only one.
That's that. Yeah, it's fantastic. I can't remember who plays Santa now. It's a famous person, but
Okay. The best
that's
Christmas movie though
fantastic. But
is
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's how I want my house. I've always dreamt of that, and I need someone to do it though.
yes, indeed. I mean,
I
I
I
don't like
can't
a ladder on
physically
the
do
best
that.
of days. Certainly not in winter weather.
No,
Certainly not in
no,
winter
it's
weather.
just I'm not willing to do it that much. But yeah, I've always wanted to be that house on the street. But what they have done in my neighbourhood here is they've put all lights up, and they all kind of club together to do it, and it looks wonderful. Unfortunately, I was out that day. But they also have a box for toys that we all buy toys and put them in the box and take
That's
them
cool.
to places. I have a friend who set up a dog charity, who's also has a list of things for different needy families, and she does it on Facebook and says like, item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then someone says, I'll take 6, I'll take 4, and she updates the Facebook post. So everyone buys different things, and then they get them by like, the 15th of December or something, and then distributes them
Sweet.
to the needy families. I think that's amazing. I absolutely, absolutely love that. So I think the mixture of the fun and the, really thinking about not just yourself, right, is
That's the point.
essential.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Now, before
Yeah.
we finish, something we haven't really touched on that I think we should, if we're talking Christmas or at least holiday season, is food. What's your favourite thing about the food?
You're not going to like this, Phoebe.
Go on.
Like pigs in blankets. And people in America as well, I know people in America, pigs in blankets are different. They're like little hot dog sausages with like pastry, like a sausage roll pastry around
Oh,
it.
see sausage rolls,
Whereas,
yeah.
yeah,
Never
whereas
eaten one
here
of
it's
those.
mini, yeah, yeah, no, I can do that. Little pork, chipolatas wrapped in streaky bacon. But I absolutely love our gravy, which is different in England. I absolutely love our gravy. Like I just love it. And I
Yeah.
just like I love
My
the vegetables, you
my
know.
uncle on Christmas lunch, and my mum's younger brother is in charge of gravy, and he does gravy like it's like a militant. Um, what's the thing? It's a whole thing, and Bruce is doing the
It's
gravy.
yeah.
Do not
Oh,
disturb
you'd have to
Bruce
get
doing the
this.
gravy, and he has to do enough because if we run out of gravy before the meal is over,
You
it
can't just
is the
quickly
end
get
of the
more.
world. It is the
Yeah.
end of the world. I used to, before I went vegan, I've always been a veggie, but before I went vegan, I used to push the boat out and buy a lot of cheese at Christmas. And before I got really ill, that's a different story for another time. But went right full on out with the cheese one Christmas, and I was still ill in February, and I knew I don't think dairy's very good for me. So that was the year that
No,
I
I don't think
stopped doing dairy. But I do these days like to get a Christmas cashew cheese. They're really expensive for a little
it's-
thing, but I'm like, oh, it's Christmas,
cashews are
it's the
expensive.
holidays, so I'm gonna get some
Do you know?
cashew.
Do you know what? I know we're running out of time, but do you know another thing that the Brits do that a lot of countries don't is the Christmas cracker. You know, you're sitting at before
Really?
you eat your dinner. Yeah, I had to find some. You can find them in your Walmarts and Targets, but people don't do it. So in England, for all our viewers here, you should try it. You get Christmas cracker. So what one family member or member of the table has one end, you have another end, and you pull it, and then one person will get what's in it, and there'll be like a little silly cheap paper hat, which you have to wear.
And a
You
really
have to
bad
wear.
joke.
Yeah, and a little bad joke that another story for another time. I met someone who wrote those
Really?
once. It's hilarious. Yeah. So a little joke and a little gift, depending on how much, it defeats the point buying really expensive Christmas crackers so that you have expensive gifts in them. They're
I
meant to
don't know.
be,
I haven't bought a nail file for years. Or a pair
I
of
have a
nail
little brush.
clippers. All the nail clippers I've got come out of Christmas crackers.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a little mirror. I have a little brush that I've had for 25 years, although I'm
Yeah.
only 21.
Of
But,
course, plus that. So the last thing is,
right?
I saw this thing the other day. Replacing the gingerbread man house or the gingerbread house is the
All
what
that.
was it?
Charcuterie
Charcuterie
chalet. Chalet.
chalet. It's very
It's got
adult,
like
isn't it?
sugar on it, cheese, all the things on it, breadsticks. For a non-vegan person, that's heaven, especially for, a non-child, should we
Yeah,
say.
no, you'd be really, really disappointed as a
That's
10-year-old if you were presented with a charcuterie chalet, wouldn't you? I'm like, give me the sugar.
Give me the gingerbread
That's
house.
the other thing
Give
is
me the
because
gingerbread house.
I'm looking forward to the sugar overload and then the movie in the
Yeah, see,
afternoon.
I'm the cheese overload. I'm more cheese
You're
overload.
a savoury, I'm
Um,
a
I, al-
sweet.
I always like the idea as well of drinking guilt-free a lot, but when you're eating that food, I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah, because it's like Christmas Day is a no-no, but Boxing Day is a different ball game.
Yeah, indeedy. So let's leave it there. Right, you give us your
Yes.
comments. What's your favourite thing about the holiday season? Do you do a holiday season? How do you do it with your family or with your friends? And yeah, we'll be back next week with another amazing topic.
Yes, we will. Have a great time, everyone. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Be kind to everyone, yourself and everyone else, and have a wonderful time. Bye.